Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks for today. We're talking Friday, November 7th. Happy Friday. Everybody, happy NBA Cup Day. Everybody cares about the NBA Cup. The splash zone is back in your life. I'm going to have 5 plays for you guys to lock in because we got a pretty massive NBA slate tonight. There's a bunch of games going on for the NBA Cup. So this is the heaviest that I will have played a slate so far this year. The most I've had is 4. Adding a 5th one today with a pretty big slate. Hopefully it goes well for us. Before we get into that, we do have to do a recap from yesterday. I only had one play because there's only one game. Unfortunately, that play could not come through. We had Devin Booker over 7.5 assists. He had 7, so he did come close, but could not get that last one to bring us to the over. I was able to, if you hit the lean on Grayson Allen, he did go over, so I didn't play that. So obviously, I'm not going to claim that it was a victory for me, but I mentioned a couple other leans, and he was one of them. Really the only good thing that happened out of that game last night. I also mentioned Bradley Beal. He was terrible. I mentioned how I didn't like him, so hopefully people didn't play that. But yeah, lost our only play yesterday. Still working our way back from just a horrific start to the season. Very, very bad start. Lost our first 6 and still down since then. Granted, we're down like a unit since then, but still, we were hoping that you lose your first 6 and then you start winning plays. Hasn't quite happened yet. Just been a brutal start to the year. Same thing happened last year, was a brutal start to last season. Eventually, we were able to make our way into the green, but it took some time to really start having some success. Hopefully, we are able to have that happen earlier this year than last year. It's a big slate of games, some good looks that I have, a couple first quarter kings that we are talking about. Would appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. The first play that we're going to lock in here actually is in this Celtics Magic game. I'm not going to who you think I'm going. I'm not taking the Franz first quarter because I actually don't think the value is there anymore. Like his point prop has dropped all the way to 20.5, but his first quarter point prop has not. It stayed at 6.5 for decent plus money price or 5.5 for -120, but the value just isn't quite there anymore. I mean, he's hit the over 6.5 in six of 8 games. He's hit his over full game prop 20.5 in 6 of 8. So I'm not touching Franz, who I did play. I went right back to him, was Jaylen Brown, over 7.5 first quarter points. This was -105 at Bet365. I would go make sure that that's still available. Bet365 odds don't pull here, unfortunately. So go check them out. If not, I would still take it at -114 at FanDuel. So no issues there. He's been very good in the first quarter. He's gone over in 6 of 9. That's very nice games. He's averaging 9 points per game in the first quarter, has 2 games with 16 points in the first quarter. And the volume he's putting up in the first quarter is just ridiculous. He missed it in his first game of the year. Since then, I mean, he's cashed it in 6 of 8 games. And you go through, especially his last 4, how often he is shooting in the first quarter. 11 shots, made 7 of them. 7 shots, only made 2 of them. 0 of 5 from deep. 8 shots, made half of them. 0 of 1 from deep. 8 shots, made 7 of them. So he's not going to shoot 7 of 8. But he can put up 8 shots, make half of them, and still go over, which is what he's done in 3 of the last 4 games. And one game he didn't, put up 7 shots, 5 3-pointers, and still got to the line, only made 1. So he's just been fantastic in the first quarter. There's nobody left that can do anything. Derek White has been incredibly disappointing. I thought he was going to have a big year. He's been the total opposite. He's been terrible. If you just blindly fade Derek White every single game, you're having success doing that. But Jaylen Brown's been good. His full game is 5 of 9. His first quarter is a very nice 6 of 9. And you look at the matchup here. The Magic are known to having a good defense. But the thing is, like where Jaylen Brown scores, look at his top 4 play types. Pick and roll ball handler, bottom 10. They're actually bottom 8. Transition, they're bottom 10. Isolation, they're bottom 8. Free throws, they're bottom 9. That's play types 1 through 4 for Jaylen Brown. Like there's really no scenario in which they are a good defense guarding how Jaylen Brown scores until we get to the spot up, which he scores 10% of the time. And then the other 3, which, I'm not accounting for that many points, below average, bottom 6, bottom 3. So it's a good matchup for Jaylen Brown. He's shooting a ton. I think it's kind of just like a personal pride thing for him. He knows his team isn't going to be as good, and he's just going to go down swinging. And with the volume he's taking, I don't necessarily blame him. And the Celtics are starting to win some games. I mean, not a ton, obviously. They won their first game here against the Pelicans. They beat the snot out of them. Won 3 straight, and they've lost 2 of 3 since then, but they just beat the snot out of the Wizards. They should be able to beat the Magic, who are having a bad year, even though they're slight underdogs. But regardless, that stuff doesn't matter. Jaylen Brown, first quarter, over 7.5. -105, again, is what I got it at. Check Bet365, would still take it at -114. Next up, another first quarter point prop. This time we are going to the Wizards and Cavs. And we're taking, where is he? Jarrett Allen. We're taking him to score 5 points in the first quarter. That's actually at plus 160 at Bet365. So really, really, really good price there. I would honestly still take it at plus 122. No book has, at least as of this morning, has 6+, which is what I actually think is the better play. Because he's a center, he's shooting all of his buckets in the restricted area or in the paint. He's mostly scoring on an even number, 2, 4, 6, 8. I mean, unless he makes a free throw or 3 free throws like he did in this case, or misses one, then he's going to get on an odd number. But more often than not, it's going to be an even number. But he's never landed on exactly 4 points. So the super juiced 3.5, I don't think makes a ton of sense. He's basically either scoring 3 buckets or only 1. And the matchup for him is perfect. First of all, he's gone over the 4.5 number in 4 of 6 games. Even though he's done it in 3 straight, that doesn't really scare me off. It's all about the matchup, which is as good as you can ask for against the Wizards. You go over here, defense versus position, and Props Madness has all this info too. I just like showing multiple sources so people know that like it's being tracked the same across different platforms, not just one. Points per game allowed to the center position. Look who is number 1, allowing the most. Your Washington Wizards. You hover over the matchup here on Props Madness. I mean, they're going to be greened out for a lot of different players, and that is true for Jarrett Allen. D rank versus defensive or player type, transition. They are the second worst defense and transition. What about shot zone, restricted area? He scores 60% of his buckets in the restricted area. Third worst defense. Defensive rating, second worst. Points in the paint allowed, fourth worst. That's where 80% of the buckets, 75% from Jarrett Allen come from, is in the paint. D rank versus his position. That's what I just showed you. 30th, most points per game allowed to centers. D rank versus DPT2, his second play type. 30th, which is the pick and roll man. They allow the most points per game to pick and roll man. Shot zone 2, which is in the non-restricted area of the paint. They're average, but because they all score in the restricted area. On a related note, 5 of 7 centers have hit their point prop over in the first quarter against the Wizards. It's a classic NBA thing. You get your big man going early. That's what the Cavs have been doing with Jarrett Allen, and he's had a lot of success against the Wizards. He's gone over this 4.5 number in 6 of 8 games dating back the last couple years. And there's just nobody down low that can hang with Jarrett Allen, whether it's on an offensive rebound that he puts back, whether it's on a pick and roll that they just dump it off to him. It's just a lot of ways in which he can cash this over. And the Wizards defense is an abomination. They're great. So that's play number 2, our second first quarter point prop. I promise they're not all first quarters. The next play that we have here, heading to the Rockets versus Spurs, and this is where we're not playing a first quarter. We're playing Devin Vassell, 15+ points. That is at -110 odds at DraftKings. That is the play here. Really good consistency from Devin Vassell. He scored 15 or more in 5 of 7 games. He missed it in the first game of the year. He had a really bad game against the Suns where he was 2 of 9 from the field, 0 of 6 from deep. Every other game, 14 shots, 16 shots, 10 shots, 12 shots, 19 shots, 14 shots. He's basically taking, on average, as many shots as we need him to score points. Like, not actually, but he's taken 13.4 shots per game. We need him to score 15 points. That's a really, really good ratio in terms of field goal attempts to points that we need him to score. And I actually like the matchup against the Rockets. You know, last year the Rockets were a defense you wanted to target for pick and roll ball handlers, guys that had the ball in their hands that scored a lot from the perimeter. That has not been the case this year. I'm looking over, going to NBA.com. We're looking at catch and shoot 3-pointers that teams are allowing their opponent to take, right? Opponent shooting, catch and shoot. Looking at 3-point attempts, the Rockets have allowed, they're tied, the 4th or 5th most 3-point catch and shoot attempts allowed in the entire NBA. In terms of how teams are making them, they are allowing the 6th most made, tied with a couple teams at 10.6 per game. And there's 5 teams above them. So they're allowing a lot of catch and shoot 3-point attempts and made catch and shoot 3-pointers. Guess who takes the most on the Spurs by a pretty wide margin? That would be Devin Vassell. 7 of his 13 shots are catch and shoot 3-pointers. Now, he's not shooting that well, but I love that volume, and that is going to normalize. He's not going to end the year shooting 30% from deep. That is also why I didn't go with his 3-point prop, because we need him to shoot a little bit better. But it's not just the catch and shoot. You hover over to the play types here. He scores The exact same amount, 31%, both in transition and via spot up. Transition, fourth most points per game. He runs, and the Rockets allow the fourth most points per game via in transition. That's how he scores, tied for the majority of his points, tied with spot up, which the Rockets are closer to average, but still below average. So really, they allow a lot of catch and shoot, but they don't allow a lot of closeouts. That's kind of what this number is telling you, that the teams are making a lot of catch and shoot, but they're not like putting the ball on the deck and closing out against them or anything like that. So even though the Rockets are a good defense, it actually works out pretty well for how Devin Vassell scores. And he's just been so consistent. Like there's no great ladder opportunity. Like we see a couple times he's landed on exactly 15 points, a couple games with, or one game with 16, another game with 17. He is not shooting that well in any of these games. So there is some room for improvement. And he's just got a good matchup and good consistency. So Devin Vassell to score 15 points, I like. Next up, we got a play here in Pistons Nets. It's my third and final first quarter point prop in this one. We're going with Duncan Robinson, and we're taking him to just score 3 points. Just make one three-pointer in the first quarter. It's minus 115 at Bet365, minus 120 at Hard Rock. I'll take it at both of those numbers. He's gone over this. He seems to be an every other game kind of guy. Missed it, cashed. Missed it, cashed. Missed it, cashed. Missed it, cashed. And if these trends continue, theoretically, this would be a game that he would miss, but that's not actually how things work. And the matchup for him, it's literally as good as it gets. It's the perfect matchup for Duncan Robinson against the Nets. You hover over the matchup here. Defensive rank versus play type, 30th. They allow the most points. And what is that? Spot up. Duncan Robinson scores 56% of his points. As a spot up shooter, the Nets are the worst defense guarding spot up shooters. Guess what? Not as many points, only down to 14%. In transition, guess what? Worst transition defense in the entire NBA. Literally number 1 and 2 in terms of the categories where he scores. The Nets are the worst defense guarding that. Even free throws, he does a decent job getting to the line. They're average at that. It's only until stuff off screen or dribble handoffs that they cover well. Well, he's not doing any of that stuff, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's 17% of his points. These are the next 20%. Next 80%. Players similar to him. Now, this is just grouping them by position, so these are just forwards. Some are similar to him, like Con Knipple. Some are not. Either way, 6 of 8 have gone over. And you want to know like where all these points are coming from? It's actually kind of similar to the Rockets. Made three-point catch and shoot attempts, made catch and shoot three-pointers. Guess who's allowed the third most in the NBA? That would be your Brooklyn Nets. Guess who takes the most on the Detroit Pistons? That would be one Duncan Robinson, who's taken about 5 per game. The next closest player is Tobias Harris, who is not playing in this game. Now, he's only played 2 games without Tobias, so there's not a ton of data on this one. One game he went over, one game he went under. I like the fact that in the game he went under, took 2 3-pointers, didn't make any, took 3 shots. The game he went over, took 2 3-pointers, made 1, but actually also got to the line and missed both of them. So there even was room for improvement on that. So I think this is a good spot for Duncan Robinson to cash over 2.5 made points in the 2.5 first quarter points is what I'm looking at here. That's our 4th play. And then the last play that we're locking in here is Wolves versus Jazz. I'm taking Julius Randle and actually taking him on the assists. Now you can get this at plus 129 odds at DraftKings. It was a pretty good price when I locked it in. The closest is plus 120 ESPN bet. I would still take that. Plus 112 at FanDuel is probably the lowest I would go. But I like this look on Julius Randle. He's gone over this in 5 of 8 games. Now, 4 of the 5 he went over. He had exactly 6. So it's not like he's smoking this over. So another situation where I don't really see a ladder opportunity. But he did miss it in this last game against the Knicks. He had 13 potential assists. That's a horrible conversion rate. And normalized after his 14 potential assists, where he only cashed 10 of them. What that is telling you is that his last 2 games, he's had 14 and 13 potential assists. Now, Anthony Edwards is listed as questionable. He returned last game. I think that he's going to play. You look at games with Ant, it's over in 3 of 4, and he's averaging 11 potential assists per game. You look at games without Ant, just to kind of compare the two, he's still gone over in 2 of 4. He had 1 game with only 4 potential assists, which is bringing down his average to about 9 per game. But the other ones, 8, you still are hoping for higher, and then we see 9, and then we see 14. So it is creeping up a little bit without Anthony Edwards. This is a really good matchup against the Jazz. You hover over this matchup here, 2nd most assists allowed. They allow the 5th most assists per game to above the break 3-pointers. and they allow the most via the mid-range, which is where that's assist zone number 1 and 2 for Julius Randle. Now the Jazz, they give up the most assists per game to point guards. If we hover over here, we look at the point guard position. The Jazz are tied for the Knicks for number 1. Obviously, Julius Randle is not a point guard. Who is? They don't have a traditional point guard on this team. They kind of get by with DiVincenzo running some offense. Mike Conley off the bench is not doing nearly as much. So they kind of split playmaking duty with Anthony Edwards, with Julius Randle, and he's kind of leading the team in passing. He's done a good job running the offense. Now, you could go points, which he's done a good job, 6 of 8, but they don't guard spot-up shooters well, which is how he scores the majority of his points. And then from there, it's mostly average to below average. And the Jazz are a team I like to target catch-and-shoot guys for points, or guys with the ball in their hands for assists. Now, assists haven't gone well. The Booker play we lost yesterday was the assist prop. Went really well for us 2 years ago. It was one of my best markets. If we go over here to 2023, it was one of my best markets, 28% ROI. I think it was like in terms of the volume, it was really good. Last year was not so good. This year hasn't started off so well. So we'll see how the assist props go. I do think that the scorekeepers are not being as generous with assists, which might have something to do with it. So something to monitor over the course of the season. But the plus 129 price for something that he's gone over in 5 of 8 games, whether Ant plays or not, I would like it better if he does play, which I think he will. But if he doesn't, I still think that the 6 number is a good price, which he's done in half of his games. So it's not like it's a horrible number with Anthony Edwards. So those are my 5 official bangers that we're locking in for today. Would be great if we had a good, let's just say we went 5-0. Let's just say that happened. That'd be doing very well in terms of getting ourselves into the green on the year. Not quite, but would feel very good. I know it's been a longer video, so I won't go too much longer. The only other leans that I looked at was somebody's popping off for the Heat in this game. I don't know who. Norman Powell could be him. The biggest thing I should mention is no Bam. So who's the beneficiary of Bam? It's Khalil Ware is probably going to play a lot of minutes as the center with no Bam. But his role is spotty, and the Heat, their rotations, Spo is just a mad scientist. He might play him 12 minutes, he might play him 27 minutes. We just don't know, and it's a number that's scary for Khalil Ware. I honestly wanted to take him to make 2 3-pointers, which he's done in 3 of his last 5 games, because they leave him wide open. They don't guard him at all. He's only going to take 3 to 4 a game, so we need him to make 66% or 50% of his threes. He's done that in 3 of his last 5 games. And look at this one game against the Hornets, 8 3-point attempts. So I do think that there's some possible value there. Davion Mitchell, who I will never bet on again in my life because I can never get him right. His assist prop is actually pretty good. It's over 7.5 for -108. Look at this last game against the Hornets. 20 potential assists, only converted 9 of them. Now he's coming off of some high conversion rate games, 9 of 14, 9 of 11, and 8 of 14. 8 of 14 is probably a reasonable number to expect. 8 of your 14 potential assists is reasonable. But after 2 outlier positive games, granted, last time we played them was an outlier negative. It's just kind of hard to know what to expect. And again, the Heat rotations are just incredibly wonky. There's a bunch of jabrones that can do something for the Heat. So I don't really like betting them. I made that mistake 3 times in a row with Davion Mitchell. But that's all we got. So thanks for watching. We'll go ahead and get out of here. 5 bangers for you guys to lock in. Julius Randle on the assists, Jaylen Brown, Jared Allen on the first quarter points, along with Duncan Robinson on the first quarter points, and then Vassell, 15 plus points. Check out Props Madness. Put a link to them in the description of the video. This is a link to my Tails account, which is just where I send everything out. So if you're interested in playing everything that I am on, this is the way to do it if you don't want to watch the YouTube videos. It's the same place. Like we see Duncan Robinson, Devin Vassell with a little bit of a write-up of kind of my logic here. You're not getting any different plays. You're just getting them early. So if you want to lock stuff in before the odds might change, or if you just don't want to watch the YouTube videos, it's for you. If not, no problem. Thanks for watching and have a good one.